Page 24, this is the moment. Now, this piece is a real good piece to try, even though you may not care for the piece, because it's a good example of using a triplet and a straight eighth note. A triplet eighth note and a straight eighth. A triplet type, or something that feels in three, we call a triplet type feel. Something that is just straight eighth notes, we call a duple type feel. And here we're going between triple and duple feels back and forth. Pianists have to be able to do this, and we generally do this a lot. In fact, I've noticed that a lot of other instrument players have problems with their triplets. But pianists, for some reason, because I guess we do them so much, really, they have to be even. So right at the beginning, look at that. You're starting out with triplets and then immediately going into straight eighth notes. So it's... And it's throughout this whole piece. It's just triplet, duple, triple, duple. For that reason alone, I would encourage you to do this piece. It's really good to have it. It's like an etude or an exercise piece on rhythm. So you think triplet, and then straight eighth notes, all in the same. Try and go back and forth. It gets tricky. I'll talk about a few things. I'm going to start with the right hand. Take a look at measure 8 going into measure 9. All right, now again, the boxes at the beginning of each line, the numbers in the box, that's measure numbers. So you can count forward or backward from those to find the measure I'm looking for. So measure 8, third line down, last measure, we're here. Then on measure 9, we need the little finger on the G, so you got to crunch up and stick them together, and you're going to hold that down while you play those other 2 beats. Now, the G in measure 9 is the melody. We want to hear the melody, so when you play these other notes, don't drown out the G, because you played it, now it's dying away, so these other notes got to be really soft. Because we want to hear the G even while we play those. It's something to keep in mind when on piano playing. Measure 24, 25. From 24, this is bottom page 25. You're here. And then triplet. They're saying 3-5 on the DF. I'm recommending 4-5. You're here, go here. Because this is a chord, and that's the fingering for the chord, and that's basically where you are. However, for the eighth notes, you do need 3 and 5. So there you will do that. Try and bring out the top note while you're at it, because that's the melody. Measure 30 on page 26. In the right hand, I recommend this fingering. You're starting out with 4, 3, then a 3, 2, and then for the C, B flat, I recommend a 3, 2, there. And watch the accidentals, because it's an E flat, D flat, D flat, B flat, and the last note is another D flat, because the flat from earlier in the measure still applies, right? You're in the same measure. Watch out on these and make sure you hold the notes out the full value. On measure 37 in the right hand, you have a half note there. Make sure you hold it out the full 2 counts and only the 2 counts. So in the left hand, when you play the DF, lift up, so you have that. You have to watch that throughout this piece. Just make sure you're accurate with how long you hold these notes down. And on top of that, bring out the melody. That's fun, isn't it? Now, if you start, see, I have problems sometimes in pieces of feeling the melody or really hearing or getting into the melody. So what I have to do in those cases is I have to forget everything else and just do the melody until I get it in my head. At the beginning there on page 24. And I have to play this over and over and over until I can feel it. And it's just tricky. once I get it, then okay, I've got it. Now I want to do that, play it that way, and add everything else back in. And that's where it starts getting tricky. Because I want to hear the melody above everything else, and I want to feel the melody. It's got to be musical. So you take this a little at a time and just have fun with it. I would like to point out a few things with the pedal. I would like to alter a few things with the pedal. Again, you can play it just like it is if that's what you want to do, but I want to offer you some other ideas. Let's just start at the very beginning, because this is typical. I'm just going to point it out like on the first line here on page 24, and then when you run across this throughout the piece, do it the same way. And the first full measure, you have the pedal down, it's fine. I would lift the pedal up when I play the last chord in the left hand. I would lift the pedal up as I play that chord. You don't need it there, because your right hand stays down. I recommend. It can get too heavy too quick, so we don't want too much pedal. It just messes things up. On measure 4, make sure you lift the pedal up so we hear a break in the phrases in the right hand. So we're here. I would lift it up when I play the F in the last. You don't need it, because you're going to keep the right hand down until you're ready to go on. Again, there, a measure, what is a measure 5? I would lift it up when I play the last note in the left hand. And you can do this, like measure 6, the same thing. Measure 9 is the same. A lot of these is the same. 10 and 11 is all the same. Lift it up basically on the 3rd beat. You don't need the pedal. They're saying keep it down to the 4th beat, and I disagree. As long as you change, those pedal indications as I'm suggesting, that's really, it's pretty consistent throughout the piece how it's done. At the very end on page 26, there at the bottom, it's legato pedal there for the last 3 measures, and that's fine because it's all run together. In the left hand, measure 7. You're here, and then we're here. For the F, I recommend the 2nd finger. You're going to hold the little finger down, it's a half note, right? And then for measure 8, you can go ahead and do a 4-1. Then in measure 9, you can do a 3-1 if you want, or a 5-1 or a 4, whatever you want. I do that because I'm kind of leading. Same thing on measure 16, the last 2 beats. Going to 17 is a 4-1. And then I would recommend on 18 a 3 for the first C, and then 5-1. There. On measure 20, watch that fingering, it's a good one. It's 5, and then a 4, and then octaves. On measure 25, we're here, then a 4 on the D. I recommend a 3 on the C, because you need a 5 on the F, and that just helps you to reach these things. Measure 38, you're here, 5-2-1, and I recommend a 4-2-1. There, you can do 5-2-1 if you want. I like this better. Then you have a quarter rest, and then for measure 39, I recommend a 4-2-1, and then a 5-2-1. And the last 2 measures, I like this fingering they've done, and I'll explain why. We're starting out here, 2-5, 4-1, 2-5, 2-1. And again, it gets back to what I was talking about on the other video about how we try not to move the hands when we, if we don't have to. And this is a great fingering. Too many people would finger each one of those would be a different hand position. That's what we're doing here, starting with the 2nd beat there, is the D, B flat, and the next one, that's one hand position. That's one chord. And you're simply fingering it that way. Then you change hand positions here. But then this is one chord. So we're only changing hand positions. Well, you got here, then you change here, you change here. I like that. That's really good. I highly recommend it. The fermata at the end, the very last note, I'm going to hold that F in the left hand 2 counts instead of 1. So we're going to play pages 24 and 25, and then we're going to stop. We're going to turn the page, and I'm going to count us in again, and then we'll play page 26. Let's give this thing a try slowly. It's a slow piece anyway, but let's try it. It's a 4/4 time. It's in the key of F major. Got one flat with a bunch of accidentals. So let's just see what happens. I'll give us 3 counts. Let's play it together slowly. So the right hand is here. Left hand's here, foot's on the pedal. Here we go. 1, ready, go, and stop, turn the page, give us 4 counts, and we'll play page 26. 1, 2, ready, go. Two,